The neutral space station Elysium Arc floated quietly in the darkness of space, a shining wheel of metal and glass. Dozens of alien ships and human vessels orbited around it, like bees around a flower. This was where humans and aliens came together for trade, diplomacy, and sometimes peace talks that could decide the future of whole worlds. Lieutenant Jason Hale, a young human medic, stood near one of the large viewports, staring at the stars. His reflection looked tired but determined. His job was not to fight, not to argue, but to keep people alive. Wherever the human delegation went, Jason followed with his medical kit ready for emergencies. Today was not a normal day. Today was the start of a major alliance meeting between humans and the alien royal family from the planet Virella. The Virelians were known across the galaxy for their advanced technology and graceful culture, but also for their cautious diplomacy. If today's talk succeeded, it could mean trade routes, shared research, and peace between two powerful civilizations. Jason checked his equipment again. Scanners, medjol, trauma patches. Everything was ready. His team leader, Commander Rossi, passed by and gave him a nod. "Stay sharp, Hale," Rossi said. "Big night tonight." "The princess will be there in person." Jason gave a quick nod. He had read the briefing. Princess Elira of Virella, known for her intelligence and kindness but also for being under constant protection. Jason had never met her kind before. Hours later, the main hall of the station was filled with life. Humans in dark uniforms stood beside Virelians in elegant flowing robes. The air was filled with the soft hum of translation devices, carrying words from one language to another. Food and drinks were served, and music played gently in the background, and then she entered. Princess Elira walked with quiet grace, her emerald green skin shining softly under the lights, her silver eyes bright like twin moons. Her hair, long and almost metallic, shimmered with every step. Jason, standing near the wall with the medics, almost forgot to breathe. She was even more beautiful than the reports had said, not in a romantic way, but in a way that made you feel like you were seeing something rare and important. The speeches began, and Jason tried to focus on his duty. But a strange feeling of unease crawled up his spine. His training told him to stay alert in crowded areas. Something felt wrong, and then it happened. A deafening boom ripped through the hall. The floor shook violently. Lights flickered and smoke filled the air. People screamed, some falling to the ground, others running in panic. Jason's ears rang, but his eyes stayed on the one thing that mattered: Princess Elira. He saw it before anyone else, a piece of burning shrapnel spinning toward her like a deadly spear. Without thinking, Jason moved. His body acted faster than his mind. He leapt forward, covering the princess with his own body. The shrapnel struck him in the shoulder and chest. Pain exploded through him like fire. He fell to the ground, his vision blurring. The princess's guards finally reacted, pulling her to safety, but she turned back, kneeling beside him. "You are hurt," she cried, her voice soft but desperate. Jason tried to speak but only coughed. He pressed his hand to his wound, feeling warm blood under his fingers. Security forces rushed in, weapons ready. Medical drones flew over the injured. Jason felt hands lifting him, voices shouting orders. Through the haze of pain, Jason saw the princess one last time before his vision darkened. Her silver eyes met his, full of something he could not name. Fear, gratitude, maybe both. And then everything went black. He woke up later in a quiet room, lying on a medical bed. The ceiling lights were soft, and there was a faint smell of antiseptic. His chest ached terribly, and his shoulder was wrapped in clean white bandages. For a moment, Jason thought it had all been a dream. But then the door opened, and she was there, Princess Elira, in a simple gown this time, without her crown or royal guards. "You live," she said softly, almost like a prayer. Jason tried to sit up, but pain stopped him. She stepped closer, kneeling beside his bed. "You saved me," she said. "You did not have to, but you did." Jason gave a weak smile. "Just doing my job." But deep down he knew it wasn't just duty. Something inside him had told him to act, no matter the cost. Outside the room, Jason could hear the sound of security teams moving quickly. The attack had not just been a random explosion. It had been a targeted strike. Someone had tried to kill the princess. Jason closed his eyes, feeling exhaustion pull at him. He had survived, but the danger was not over. And somewhere deep in his chest he felt a quiet, strange connection to the alien princess he had nearly died protecting. When Jason Hale opened his eyes again, the room was bright. He could hear the quiet hum of medical machines around him. His chest and shoulders still ached, but the pain was less sharp now. The doctors had done good work. The door slid open and a familiar figure entered. Princess Aelira walked in with soft, measured steps. She was not wearing her royal crown or heavy robes this time, just a simple robe of silver fabric that shimmered as she moved. "You are awake," she said gently, her silver eyes watching him. Jason slowly sat up, careful not to reopen his wounds. "Yes," he said in a rough voice. "Guess I'm still alive," the princess smiled softly. "You are more than alive. You are very brave. You saved me." Jason looked down at his bandaged chest. "Anyone would have done the same." "No," Aelira said. "Not everyone would leap into danger for someone they barely know." Jason felt a little awkward at her words. He had acted on instinct, not thinking about who she was, only that she was in danger. Over the next few days, Princess Aelira visited him often. At first, Jason thought she was just being polite, showing respect for the man who had saved her life. But as the days passed, he realized her visits were not just formal. She brought him stories from her planet, little gifts of alien fruit that glowed softly in the dark, and even some advanced Virelian medicine that helped his wounds heal faster. Sometimes, they just talked. Jason told her about Earth, about the oceans, the forests, and the sky full of birds. Aelira listened with great interest, as if Earth was a place of wonder. "I would like to see the blue oceans one day," she said. "Our seas are green and full of crystal plants." "But blue? It must be beautiful." Jason smiled. "Maybe one day you will." Their quiet talks became the best part of Jason's long recovery. But outside his room, the situation was tense. The attack that had injured Jason had not been random. Investigators had confirmed that a group of extremists opposed to the Human-Virelian alliance had planted the bomb. Worse, intelligence reports suggested that the group was planning a second attack. Bigger, deadlier, and aimed at destroying the upcoming treaty signing ceremony. Commander Rossi came to Jason's room one morning with grim news. "Hale, you need to stay ready. We believe there will be another strike. This time they want to make sure Princess Aelira doesn't leave this station alive." Jason's jaw tightened. "Then I should be there," he said. "You're still recovering," Rossi reminded him. "Your job is to heal, not play hero." But Jason could not ignore the thought of Aelira being in danger again. He had seen the fear in her eyes that night. He could not let it happen a second time. That evening, when Aelira visited, Jason told her about the new threat. She was quiet for a moment, her silver eyes thoughtful. "I am not afraid to die," she said softly. "But if I die, the treaty dies with me. My people will not trust yours. The future we hope for will vanish." Jason looked at her and felt something heavy settle in his chest. This was bigger than just protecting one person. This was about protecting peace. "I'm not letting that happen," Jason said firmly. "You are still hurt," Aelira said, concerned. "I can still stand, still move, still do my job," Jason said. "I won't stay in this bed while someone tries to kill you again." For a moment, the princess just looked at him. Then she reached into a small box she had brought with her. Inside was a short ceremonial blade, beautifully crafted, its handle carved with glowing runes. "This is a Sereth blade," she said, holding it carefully. "It is a symbol of trust among my people. I give it to you, Jason Hale, because you have earned my trust." Jason took the blade, feeling its surprising weight. It was not meant for combat, but it was still sharp and strong. "I will protect you," he said quietly. The days that followed were tense. Security forces doubled their patrols. Engineers swept the halls for hidden explosives. But Jason stayed close to the princess, acting as both medic and guard. His wounds still hurt, but he pushed through the pain. One evening, as they walked through the observation deck, Aelira spoke softly. "When I first came here, I thought humans were impatient, quick to anger, too wild for diplomacy. But you have shown me another side of humanity. You risked your life for me without hesitation. You care for others even when you are hurt. This is the kind of courage my people respect." Jason looked out at the stars, feeling strangely proud. "Humans can be a lot of things," he said. "But we try to protect those who can't protect themselves. It's just who we are." Aelira smiled faintly. "Then maybe there is hope for peace." But peace was still far away. On the eve of the treaty signing, a coded message reached the security team. The attackers had infiltrated the station. No one knew how many there were or where they would strike, only that they would try again. Jason checked his medical kit and strapped the seraph blade to his belt. His body still ached, but his mind was sharp. When he looked at Elira standing tall despite the danger, he felt a new sense of resolve. He was not just a medic anymore. He was a protector, and tomorrow he would prove it. The day of the treaty signing arrived. The main hall of Elysium Arc was repaired and filled once again with banners of peace. Humans and Varelians gathered, their faces serious but hopeful. This was the moment everyone had been waiting for. The signing of the historic Alliance Treaty. Jason Hale stood near Princess Elira, dressed in a clean uniform, his chest still bandaged under it. The seraph blade rested at his side and his medical kit was strapped to his back. "Are you ready?" Jason asked softly. Elira looked calm, but her silver eyes carried a quiet determination. "I am ready," she said. "If we succeed today, my people and yours will share a future together." Jason nodded, scanning the room. Security teams were everywhere, scanning every guest, every corner. And yet Jason's instincts whispered that danger was still near. The ceremony began. The hall grew quiet as the human ambassador gave a speech about trust and cooperation. Then Elira stepped forward, speaking with a voice that carried across the room. "For many years," she said, "our two peoples watched each other from afar. Today we take the first step toward walking side by side." The crowd applauded softly. And then, it happened. A sudden flash at the far end of the hall. Jason's sharp eyes caught the movement, a drone, small and deadly, zipping through the air toward the princess. "Down!" Jason shouted. He pushed Elira behind a pillar just as the drone fired. The energy bolt struck the wall, leaving a smoking hole. Screams filled the hall as more drones appeared, followed by armed attackers who had hidden among the guests. Chaos broke out. Jason pulled the princess to cover, pain shooting through his chest as he moved. He quickly pressed a trauma patch to a wounded diplomat nearby, stopping their bleeding, before turning back to Elira. "Stay behind me," he said firmly. The princess nodded, trusting him completely. Jason grabbed the seraph blade. It wasn't a gun, but in his hands it was still a weapon. When the first attacker rushed their position, Jason blocked the strike and countered with a quick slash. The attacker fell back, surprised by the human's speed despite his injuries. Another drone buzzed toward them. Jason grabbed a fallen guard's pistol, aimed and shot it out of the air. His shoulder burned with pain, but he refused to stop. All around, security forces fought to regain control of the hall. Smoke filled the air, alarms blared, but Jason stayed focused on his one job, keeping Elira alive. "Move," Jason said, leading her toward the side exit. Two more attackers tried to cut them off, but Jason used a combination of quick shots and the blade to drive them back. At one point, they found an injured security officer bleeding on the floor. Jason knelt quickly, using his medjol to seal the wound. "You saved him too," Elira said, helping him pull the officer to safety. Jason gave a tight smile. "I'm a medic. I save everyone I can." Finally, they reached the secure chamber where the remaining delegates were being protected. But just as they entered, another explosion shook the station. The attackers had planted a secondary charge near the main power lines. They want to take the whole station down, Jason realized. One of the guards shouted, "We can't disarm it from here. Someone needs to reach the control room manually." Jason looked at the princess, then at the panicked faces of the delegates. He knew what he had to do. "I'll go," he said. Elira stepped forward. "You are still hurt?" Jason shook his head. "I'm the only one who knows the medical deck layout. I can get there fast and I can handle this." She hesitated, then reached out and touched his hand. "Then go, Jason Hale, and come back alive." Jason nodded once, then ran. Every step was painful, but his mind stayed sharp. He moved through smoke-filled corridors, dodging falling debris, fighting off two more attackers who tried to stop him. Finally, he reached the control room. The bomb timer was blinking, only 2 minutes left. Jason's hands worked quickly, sweat running down his face. He remembered his engineering training from medic school. It wasn't much, but it was enough. 30 seconds left. He cut the right wire. The timer went dark. Jason let out a long breath and leaned against the wall. His body was exhausted, but the danger was over. When he returned to the secure chamber, the room erupted in relief. The attackers had been captured, the last drones destroyed. The station was safe. Elira rushed to him, her silver eyes bright. "You stopped them!" she said, her voice full of emotion. Jason gave a tired smile. Guess I did. Later, when the hall was cleared and the smoke was gone, the ceremony was completed. Despite the attack, the treaty was signed. Before the entire assembly, Princess Illyra stepped forward. This man, she said, pointing to Jason, risked his life not once but twice to protect me and to save this alliance. On behalf of Varela, I name him Guardian of the Silver Accord, a friend and protector of my people. The room erupted in applause. Jason felt heat rise to his face, but he stood tall. When the ceremony ended, Illyra walked beside him. You have changed my view of humanity, she said softly. Because of you, I believe our future can be bright. Jason smiled. I didn't do this for politics. I just didn't want to see anyone die. And that, Illyra said, is why you are a true guardian. Jason looked out at the stars beyond the station's windows. He still felt the ache of his wounds, but also something new, a sense of pride, of purpose. He had come to this station as just a medic. But now he was something more. And somewhere deep inside he knew that this was just the beginning of a much larger journey, for himself, for the princess, and for the peace they had fought so hard to protect.